and welcome back to another very special edition of Capture the Magic in Conversation. So glad that you hopefully are hopping on with us tonight. We are celebrating here that travel is back, and we have a very special guest tonight. But first, want to remind you that if you are planning any sort of vacation this year, cruises, overseas travel, pretty much anywhere in the world. Me and the team at Capture the Magic Vacations would love to have you because travel is back. And this evening, we've got a really special guest with us tonight. It's my favorite guest ever. It's my wife, Rachel. Say hi, Rachel. Welcome.
Hi, friends.
It's been a while since we've been able to get together to do this. So I'm excited that we can kind of chat because there's been a lot of kind of news and stuff going on. So glad we finally have a chance to kind of catch up and talk about all the exciting stuff. And we've got some fun announcements for this summer.
Absolutely. Especially with all the mandates on the airplanes going away slowly but surely. I'm super excited to see what all that opens up.
Yes. So more and more travel is back, like we said, and we are more and more excited. And shout out to everybody that is watching. Hey, Jen Hancock, one of our fellow Capture the Magic agents. She says, hi. Thanks for joining, Jen. You may see Jen coming up real soon here on Capture the Magic Vacations in Conversation. One of our good Wilmington friends is here in North Carolina in the house. So glad you are here. But tonight, I kind of wanted to just take a quick opportunity and chat about how we, with a lot of the current events right now, wanted to talk about kind of how we're going to be approaching this summer as a family and kind of announce what we're thinking. So you want to get into that, dear?
Sure. So we kind of have not slowed down our travel very much over the last few years like most people have. We have just kind of altered it to avoid airports and other types of longer distance travel. But over the last few years, we've actually done several Disney related trips, and it's been a while since we've done non-Disney things. And so we were kind of already planning a non-Disney trip coming up end of June. The kids don't know it yet, so they'll be surprised with a lovely early summer trip. And so we are looking to be able to squeeze in. I know we're doing Legoland, we're doing Universal, and we are doing SeaWorld. Did I get them all?
Yep. Yeah. So this summer, since Rachel's right, and we hope that this may actually help some of you guys because we're cognizant of some of the current events right now, and you may have some concerns or just have some personal convictions that may be making you want to put a pause and aren't quite sure if you want to quite do a Disney vacation right now, especially with all the current events and things that are happening right now. So we thought that we'd kind of dive deep into the other side of Orlando because it's really easy to forget that Orlando is a worldwide entertainment destination. Yeah. Yes, there's a lot of kind of cheesy gift shops. There's a lot of, kitschy, touristy stuff throughout Orlando, but it is an international destination because of the major theme parks that are even outside the Disney bubble. And so we're popping the Disney bubble tonight and going to dig into some Orlando adventures and opportunities for you and your family to experience what else Orlando has to offer. So if you may be like us and have done Disney multiple years or have other things or other reasons then there are alternatives. And me and the entire team here at Capture the Magic, we are partnered with SeaWorld Parks and Resorts.
Mhm.
So that's Busch Gardens, Tampa, and SeaWorld, Discovery Cove, Aquatica. We have partnerships with there, and SeaWorld does amazing packages that are available and an outstanding value for if you have the animal lovers in your life. So we'll dig into SeaWorld in just a second. Also, Legoland, Florida. Legoland being one of the big things that a lot of people are really interested in. If you're anything like our son Daniel,
Mhm.
Legos is where it's at. And he's
Yeah.
been asking, how long has he been asking to go to Legoland?
So he has actually been to Legoland once, but it was on out in California, and it was just before he turned 2, so he doesn't really super remember it. But he really got hardcore into Legos when he was about 4 or 5, and so it's been a couple years that he's been asking. He literally, like, will find, like, because in a lot of the Lego boxes, they'll have, advertisements for, X amount off of a Lego experience or whatever, and he'll, like, save them and say, "Mom, Dad, we wanna go to Legoland," and stuff. So he's been excited for a really long time.
Yep. And so we'll dig into some details on Legoland, going back to things that we learned when we were in Carlsbad, California years ago. And Because Legoland, I think, is a very specific age
Mhm.
group. And
Yes.
there's some things to consider too while considering Legoland. And then finally, last but not least, the what is emerging as a place that I'm having more clients actually go to right
Mhm.
now than Disney, the
Yeah.
Universal Orlando Resort. It is just not Universal Studios anymore. It is an entire resort that I have clients who are actually staying at Universal and maybe doing a day at Disney,
Mhm.
but they're staying at the hotels because the hotel experience at Universal is unmatched. And it's becoming, for especially certain age groups, the place to go. And I think Daniel and Sarah finally are at a place where they can have their kind of first epic Universal adventure and everything happening there. So, in the meantime, before we dive into these, just keep in mind you can chat in any of this wherever you're watching on the Twitter, YouTube, or Facebook. We'd love to answer any questions that you may have from our previous experiences at these places. Just put it in the chat, and we may be able to feature your comment. Where do you want to dive in first, dear?
Wherever, babe.
Okay, well let's talk about SeaWorld.
Okay.
Um, SeaWorld, one of the original OG, not long after Disney opened, SeaWorld came to Orlando, and they have emerged from kind of about a decade ago when all the Blackfish controversy and stuff was
Yeah.
happening. And SeaWorld, I think, is taking their place at being a multifaceted, full family park that
Mhm.
offers thrills all the way down to things for the littlest people. The biggest addition, even that we're excited to check out because our kids are about to age out of this,
Yeah.
and it was not here last time we went, was Sesame Street. Now has taken over the entire what was kind of the Shamu Junior area of the park,
Yeah.
and has a full interactive Sesame Street area. And I know that Daniel Sarah at the top of that Sesame Street age, but I still think they'll be excited to kind of jump in and visit with the Sesame Street friends. So that's going to be something new that we haven't got to do yet.
I agree. I think that's gonna be fun for them. I think that might actually kind of re-engage them a smidge into that world. But from what I've seen of it, it looks really immersive and there's a lot of character experiences and stuff like that that's going on. So I'm kind of excited to see what that looks like, honestly.
Yeah, we're excited to kind of do new things because
Yeah.
the shows are what SeaWorld's most known for.
Right.
And they're still there and still amazing. The Dolphin
Mhm.
Show probably is the best show in Orlando. and a lot of theatrical things, pet tricks, and then several big roller coasters,
Mhm.
including the new Icebreaker coaster that has just opened this year. So SeaWorld's trying to be a mix of different things. But the one thing that SeaWorld has been offering the past couple of years that I don't think most people focus on is their festivals. And all year long, they're going to be running different festivals. And we will be at the very top when we go. We'll be in the big Electric Ocean Festival, which is a big kind of summer celebration that they do. But no matter when you go, they right now they have the Seven Seeds Food Festival going on. They'll do a Cinco de Mayo celebration. They'll do a Latin celebration in May called Viva la Musical. They'll have Guy Harvey Days. In the fall, they'll have their craft beer festival. And then they have a brand new event. For years, they've had their SeaWorld Spooktacular, which is like the fun event for kiddos.
Mhm.
But now they're also doing an adult Halloween event where they have like some haunted, like spooky events going on. And then I think and then in November, they have a special Sesame Street weekend. But I think me and your favorite thing is at SeaWorld Orlando is Christmas.
Yes. Christmas at SeaWorld is one of the most special times. I can't tell you how gorgeous it is. I know when it's been several years since we've been there, so I don't know if they do this all the time, but I know when we were there, they had like an ice skating show on the water, and it was beautiful. Um, and so it was honestly a beautiful time to go to SeaWorld. SeaWorld's honestly not 100% my favorite just because I'm not a huge like sea life person. I enjoy watching the kids watch the shows and getting them involved with like learning all the things because I love that. And there's some of the highlights are definitely, still enjoyable for me, but it's not my favorite park ever. Um, but I really like it at Christmas. That's my favorite time to go.
Yeah, and it is the only theme park in Orlando that celebrates actual Christmas. It is the SeaWorld Christmas celebration. And so all of the SeaWorld parks and resorts do actual Christmas, including Busch Gardens Tampa actually has Christmas Town. And there are packages that we can do that you can experience the SeaWorld Christmas celebration with the Sea of Trees, the ice skating shows, all their big over the top Christmas celebrations. And there's just something really special about that. But I do think, hopefully, as part of Electric Ocean, they do have kind of a food festival component to it. So if you like food and drink festivals, Electric Ocean will still have that. And I know that's a favorite of yours is the food festival. And
Oh,
we've always been more Epcot food festival people. This will be kind of our
right.
first time dipping our toe in the SeaWorld world
Well,
of
I feel
things.
like, SeaWorld has been expanding their, food selections for a lot of these festivals over the years, and so I feel like they've got more availability from what it seems like than they had the last time we were there, which has been a couple years. So, I'm looking forward to seeing what they have this time and seeing if it kind of improves the overall experience for everyone. That because just because I'm not, like, the most sea life person, whatever.
Yes, yes. No, it's uh, definitely goes beyond just you're watching Shamu.
Yeah.
They've actually, started their slow journey of phasing out Shamu. And that's kind of why you're seeing these festivals and stuff emerge that it's more of a sea life celebration
Mhm.
park. And they offer lots of amazing things. So message me if you want to either kind of build a experience like we're doing where we're kind of hitting multiple parts, or if you have kids that are huge big into marine biology and things like that, SeaWorld has a ton of behind the scenes tours and stuff like that that I can help walk you through options that can really make it an extra special uh, experience for your family, with
Yeah.
some great hotels that are located right there at the park that allow it to be really easy to bounce in and out. So definitely something not to forget about, because they're constantly expanding, and it's going to be just like it's going to be different for me and you when we go. this summer, it's definitely going to be different. So if you have a SeaWorld memory, drop it in the chat because I'd be interested to kind of know what other people's opinions are. If you're
Yeah.
more like Rachel and like I'm not excited to see sea otters like I am. I love the sea otters. You can drop in the chat. We'd love to kind of hear your thoughts on it. And so now turning to Legoland, this will be our first time at Legoland Orlando,
Yes.
which I think we're excited about.
Yeah.
Kind of get what were some of your thoughts? We've done Legoland before, Legoland California,
Okay.
which is
So
glorious. But what were your impressions from that? And then we'll
I
kind of
told
compare and contrast.
we didn't do a ton of research before we went to Legoland the first time. We didn't know exactly what to expect as far as a lot of the rides and experiences and shows and whatever. But we quickly realized since Daniel at the time was just under 2 and I was pregnant with Sarah, um, almost all of the rides at that point were really geared to like 4 or 5-year-olds up to about 8 to 10-year-olds. Okay.
Mhm.
So there was a couple things that he could do as a toddler, and there were a few things that you might find fun if you were older than 10, but it was really kind of targeted to that middle range there. Okay. So with our kids now being almost 8 and 5.5, this is like the perfect time to go try it again. And so we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to it because they are continuing to expand and grow the Lego brand over the last few years. I do appreciate they have a little bit of um, lightheartedness to their brand awareness. I feel like the last time we went, they like had an entire like movie short making fun of the fact that they had just come out with that entire huge like Lego movie and was kind of self-humorous, so to speak. And it was we had fun. I just felt like our kids were a little too young to enjoy it fully. I will say I did have the thought today that I'm kind of glad we're going post COVID because a lot just be aware if you're considering it, there are several parts in the park, at least there was in Florida or California. I assume this is the case in Florida as well, where they had like free build areas where it was just like bins and bins and bins of open Legos for the kids to build whatever they want. And it was beautiful and wonderful and fantastic. But honestly, if you're like a germaphobe, just be aware that you're going to have to like process what you want to do with that. If you want to let your kids do that or not, or bring your own sanitizer or whatever it is you want to do. But I'm looking forward to it because our kids love to do Legos, so they're gonna have fun with it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And the thing that we didn't realize is the minimum height requirements were almost on everything
Yes.
at Legoland, which was a shock. And coming from, we had done Disney World with the 9-month-old, Disneyland with the 2-year-old, and the vast majority of attractions the 2-year-old could still experience. We show up
Right.
at Legoland, and it was a lot of the things that you would even think that a small child would be able to do or under 2, they were not. And they did have a full Duplo, which is the toddler Lego section, which had a lot of the play and stuff like that, which was great. But on the flip side, it was kind of a little bit of a shock.
Yeah.
Now, for people from the East Coast who have been going to Florida for years, Legoland Florida is actually what used to be Cypress Gardens, which was a big place that I know my parents and my grandparents all vacationed in Central Florida years and years, decades ago. They have overtaken it, and it's now part of Legoland Florida. So if you're interested in that old world Florida experience, you can still get a taste of that. And they have several tributes and the Southern Bells and stuff built out of Legos. But on the flip side, the big attraction is Legoland Florida, which I feel like is their key park because they get more people at that park. And so they have a new Lego Lego Movie World, with several new attractions. Lego Ninjago has a brand new choppy ride that's like an interactive ride, and lots of new things that have come out since last time we were able to go. So I'm excited to dig in and see what is going on there. So if you've ever been to Lego Land or have interest in Legoland, hey, hit down in the chat, and we have a partnership with their hotels, because there are multiple hotels at Legoland Florida, which is a good idea to consider, considering the drive to Legoland from Orlando is almost an hour, and people don't really process that always. So there's things to process. So definitely get with me. Message me if you're like, yes, we want to do the Legos with the kids. Reach out and we can kind of talk about the logistics of actually getting there, which is a little bit of a process. So in the meantime, yell us in the comments. We'd love to kind of hear if you've had experience, if you've agreed, what ages you've had your kids at Legoland or Orlando. We'd love to kind of hear about that. So, and then I think finally the highlight for us, I know, is going to be 3 days at the Universal Orlando Resort, which years ago, Universal Orlando was kind of the thing that you'd spend a day at when you went down to Disney. You'd spend a day, a couple days at Disney, 4 days at Disney, and then a day at Universal, a day at SeaWorld. Well, Universal has developed and grown to where it is now a vacation destination in itself. And I think Daniel and Sarah, Daniel has finally reached, I believe they say that it's 48 inches is kind of the dream number where most of the Universal Orlando rides open up. And I know they are both excited at the idea of going, and they're going to be even more shocked when we actually show up there. Because Daniel has been when he was younger, and there's a lot of stuff for the little kids.
Though.
Yes, yeah.
It has been a while since we've gone, and I don't think all of us have ever spent 3 full days there. So I'm looking forward to exploring all of that's changed. I know you've been more recently than that. And you got to have a lot of awesome experiences, but I mean, I think the last time I was there, Daniel was in a stroller, and I was like spoon feeding him,
Yeah, it's which there are stuff for a lot of people think that Universal is exclusively for older teenagers and up. But in Islands of Adventure, you do have Seuss Landing, which is the kind of home to all the Dr. Seuss characters, and a lot of very family-friendly rides and stuff are there. And then also at the other park, there's some 90s nostalgia, because you have things that are themed to Feifels Goes West and Curious George, and some E.T. the Extraterrestrial, and a lot of very older things at that part. But will be fun. We were just talking about how we need to show them Feifel Goes West so they actually understand like what the Universal side is about. But that's not just at the Islands of Adventure. You also have Camp Jurassic, which is focused around the kiddos, with a lot of great slides and climbing things and everything all around there, including a roller coaster that you have to have a child like under 54 inches to accompany you on, called Pteranodon Flyers. So I know both Daniel and Sarah are going to love having that exclusive roller coaster just for kids, that a lot of the older people that go like don't get to ride it because you have to have a kid with you. So that's going to be kind of exciting too. It's going to be exciting. The kids, of course, they've not read the Harry Potter books yet, and that's what most people associate right now with Islands of Adventure and Diagon Alley. And Hogsmeade are the two lands there. And so, of course, that's what the majority of my clients going to Universal are going for. And we have an amazing package that Universal does with the travel agents that allows you to stay at the Universal and go to the parks, but it also includes great things like fun breakfast at the Leaky Cauldron and 3 broomsticks. and also has like some fun photo sessions and things like that in it. So definitely don't just buy Universal tickets. Chat with me because there are some great packages out there that are a way better value. I tell many of my clients that actually the 1 day park to park ticket at Universal is actually the most expensive theme park ticket in Orlando, way more than anything Disney has. And so you definitely want to look at doing a vacation at Universal if possible, is probably though the best value in
Mhm.
Orlando. And then of course Volcano Bay, which is going to be a new experience for you and the kiddos, which we're going to enjoy on that third day, which is Universal's brand new water theme park that is kind of next level. It's not your wet and wild experience. It's definitely your next level water park. So we're definitely excited about that. So when you're making your summer plans, definitely make plans to uh, definitely check with me. Let's look at some options, and it's going to be a great summer.
I know we're really looking forward to all of these plans panning out. I we we weren't aware of all of the political things that would be in play by the time this came about. But I am super excited about all of the different offerings that are there. But I will say, regardless of what your family is like doing or feeling or whatever, um, just being able to plan ahead and feel like you have somebody in your corner to like bounce ideas off of, or there's times where I'm like, hey Brad, is there any way that we can do something along these lines? And he's like, oh, I've got 15 ideas for you, yes we can. And he like pulls the strings and makes it happen, and I love it because I can just throw ideas at him and he makes it happen. It's beautiful. So
Yep. And just our family is specifically exploring what the rest of Orlando has to offer. But
right.
if your family is wanting to dig in to Disney, and I will say the Disney parks are kind of a safe haven. Even if some things have changed and you're kind of consuming Disney content differently, if you're still wanting that Disney experience, please chat with me about it first. We actually have a family at our church who is going down in a week and just did not book without me, and so we've been kind of making a little bit of fun and jest because they're trying to like track down dining reservations right now, and it's like, you wouldn't have to be getting up every day and looking because your travel agent would do that for you. And Disney does have a lot of restrictions right now in terms of park reservations. So just because you have a Disney ticket does not mean that you're going to a Disney park. And there's been headlines made where people are holding signs up asking for reservations last month because things are a little complicated. So it's not just the political side of stuff that Disney that's complicated. There's a lot of other mitigating factors that have to be considered when taking a trip down. I know I have a lot of people asking about 2022, and that is still not available yet for a package yet. So please, if you have
You mean
2022, reach
2023?
out. We can, thank you, 2023.
Okay.
Yeah, it feels like 2022 is not available, and it wasn't last month because all the park reservations were taken up. But I have several people wanting to go January 2023. That is still, even though it's coming up on just 8 months away,
Yeah.
which is a short amount of time for Disney. The packages are going to be dropping any day now, and so let me know, and we can start working on that when it comes. So, and even if you want to just dive into what's the park experience like, if you have some political concerns, let's offline talk, and we can kind of go through it because Rachel and I have kind of been processing it, and where we're going to hit pause right now, but other things we're evaluating, we're reviewing first, and
Mhm.
it may be helpful to have kind of an advocate in your corner that has experienced some things and can kind of help mitigate stuff, especially as June is approaching, because there's going to be a lot of concerns once June hits in the Disney parks for sure. So um, yeah,
Do you want to
what
explain
else am
why?
I missing?
Do you want to
Hmm?
explain why June? I feel like that's
June is typically when the first week of June is when some local groups host some Pride celebrations
Oh,
as
gotcha.
part of Pride Month. And
Okay.
so there's some dates and specific days that are not officially recognized by Disney, but I always make families aware that are traveling during that time just so they understand what's happening.
Right.
And we can kind of dive into that if that's and manage some of the tensions around that. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay.
Good.
All right.
Good. Well, thank you for hopping on with me. We've been in a really busy season, so I'm excited to kind of dig in. And once again, you can message me here on any of the platforms or head to bradchristian.tv/travel or reach out to Rachel and I. And we'd both love helping you get ready for your next adventure. Right? Exciting, right?
Absolutely.
Adventure awaits. Thanks for joining us, Rachel. I guess I'll see you later.
Thanks.
Bye, guys. Have a great night. We'll see
Bye,
you.
guys.